Hi, everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you for joining me today on my vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Plus, leave me a comment if you're feeling up for it. All right. So, as you all know, I am not a fan of the corporate press, what some people call the mainstream media. I frequently criticize them on how they handle certain topics, certain stories, how they outright lie about things, how they often will go to war with just the general populace. Guys like me get called all kinds of names, bigots, just because I don't like a certain story or a certain person or a certain director or how a movie changed my favorite character. Oh, no, no, no. I get called all kinds of names, and I often get angry about this on how guys like me, fans like me, or just people get portrayed by the media. We've seen this over and over again. The mainstream media, the corporate press, whatever you want to call them, they need some radical reforms here in the United States. Now, Canada, UK, the European media, they are way worse. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, they're just a step below just being propaganda like they have in brutal dictatorships like North Korea and China. And it's just a sad fact and the reality of the world we live in. The free press has turned into a corporatism that wants to talk down to their audience instead of reporting the news. They want to commentate to you and tell you how to think instead of presenting you with the facts and letting you make your own decisions. It's very disgusting. Well, one platform is fighting back. Actually, two, Truth Social and Rumble, are joining a federal lawsuit or filing one against several media outlets because of just the hate they are receiving. It's starting to affect their bottom line. It's interfering with business. And what's worse is they can't really prove what they're saying, right? So they'll say, oh, the Rumble hosts this person and they're very bad, no good, everyone hates them, and it'll be Russell Brand, who, yes, is a celebrity and he's not above criticism, but he's not some, radical bigot out there. I find him to be funny at times. I like his commentary sometimes. I don't agree with him about everything, but so what? I do agree with him on his populist takes about things at times, but it's really weird the examples they give. So this is according to Rumble's own corporate website. Rumble files federal defamation lawsuits against co-founders of purported watchdog group. Rumble, the video sharing platform and cloud service provider, filed a lawsuit today in federal court in Florida against two co-founders of a purported watchdog organization. Rumble sued Nandini Jami and Claire Atkin, co-founders of Check My Ads, a 501c3 tax-exempt corporation that routinely targets news outlets and platforms who do not adhere to their political worldview. Also named as defendants are John Doe's, number 1 through 10, as yet to be identified individuals who helped prepare and publish the defamatory information on their website. And then they talk about who their lawyer is, and then it says this is a comment from Rumble chairman and CEO Chris Pavlovski. As an unapologetic free speech platform, Rumble's mission is to provide all content creators and users a place to speak, listen, and debate freely, regardless of their political perspective. When anti-free speech zealots, whose self-declared mission is to shut Rumble down, lie to inflict intentional economic harm on our company, we have no choice but to hold them accountable. Defamation is not free speech. This is true. We have filed this lawsuit because we have a responsibility to our shareholders, creators, users, and advertisers to act and not sit idly by when someone attacks our company's reputation solely to silence differing political views. Our mission requires it. It goes on describing what the lawsuit alleges. It says the lawsuit alleges that Jami and Atkin cannot tolerate Rumble's content-neutral philosophy and want competing points of view to be silenced. Quite frankly, they're right. So continuing on, the suit also points out that the defendants knew their claim about Rumble's reliance on Google ad revenue for survival was false, and the defendants refused to correct their statement when Rumble demanded a retraction. In the suit, Rumble is seeking presumed and punitive damages in addition to all costs and fees associated with the case. Rumble has asked the court to prohibit the defendants from repeating their false statements and for any other remedies deemed appropriate. The lawsuit closely follows one filed by X against Media Matters, True Social, another social media company. Similarly, has sued 20 media outlets. It's about time. I look at the past and see how the media ginned up false stories. Think about Richard Jewell, right? Here's a man who helped save people in Atlanta during the Olympics. And what do? They smear him. They don't call him a hero. Well, at first they did, right? They trot him out. But it's not just that they said, hey, we don't believe him. It's also we think that he is responsible for, right? They go on and on about it. I remember when I first responded to, because when Clint Eastwood made his movie about Richard Jewell, the original newspaper that is portrayed in the film, they were furious about how they were portrayed in the film, even though they were portrayed accurately. And but then when you go back into their archives and you look at the stuff that was written about Richard Jewell, it didn't slide into we don't believe his story. It was outright defamation. One of their op-eds compared him to a serial killer. And, it's not just them. We think about the Covington schoolboys, boys who are being harassed by a cult, and then some Native American with a drum comes out and starts beating in their face, but then they got called all these different names, or even think about how they handled the pandemic, right? It was, they spread all kinds of false information, and now we know it's false. And now they're like, oh, please give us mercy. And it's like, you who without mercy now plead for it? I thought you were made of sterner stuff, media, to quote Optimus Prime. But, it's very interesting to see this. And of course, they're going to hide behind we have freedom of speech and freedom of the press. All of a sudden, the very people in the media who are telling social media platforms, hey, you have to censor this person or you have to censor that person, because it is your responsibility as the platform to do this. All of a sudden, they're going to be hiding behind the First Amendment after calling out people and criticizing people for their stances and calling them all kinds of bigots. No, bump that noise, as the kids say. No, forget it. We are not going to let you be unaccountable anymore. Think about the McCanns, right? Their little girl goes missing and in a foreign country, and what happens? That country goes after the McCanns. They don't try to help find the little girl, right? They create all these conspiracy theories. They do a documentary special making the parents look like total buffoons and evil. And then in their home country, the McCanns face this kind of scrutiny. It's absolutely barbaric. And listen, I'm not saying the McCanns didn't act a little odd when their little girl went missing, but don't forget, their little girl went missing. Of course, they're going to act a little strange because they don't know what to do. They've never been in that circumstance. But of course, no, we're going to think about Amanda Knox, how the European media just made her out to be this monster. They used to call her Foxy Knoxy. It was just all lies. And they even caught the real murderer of, she was accused, for those of unfamiliar, she and her boyfriend at the time were accused of slaying Amanda's roommate, and she went through this incredibly obnoxious process with the country of Italy, and they actually found that the forensic evidence exonerated her. Not only that, but they actually caught the real killer. And instead, the media continued to pile on. The British media especially was really guilty of this. Oh, this American woman, she's trying to, say she's innocent, but we think she's guilty. And of course, forensically, she was proven innocent. And even when it went to the highest court in Italy, they actually said she was innocent, and they chastised the police investigator, who was a monster, by the way. What a jerk. He just, it's one of those situations where police get tunnel vision. Man, I'm so proud to be an American, despite how terrible our press is. The Europe press is way worse, like I was saying. And, you watch these platforms, they censor people like my friend Alfonso Rachel, who's, he does all these amazing music covers. He does commentary. Go head over to his channel. It's suspended right now, but show him some love. They censor him, an African American man, just because he has different opinions than the mainstream media. He goes on and he talks about truth and freedom and what it actually means. He's a Christian and he's a proud Christian. It's one of the reasons why I'm proud to call him my pal, my friend and fellow author, C.S. Johnson. She is amazing. She does amazing stuff. She's an amazing writer. I'm really glad to be acquainted with her. And YouTube is suspending her channel just because she dares to, go away from what the mainstream people in Hollywood and New York and all those other, zeitgeists of creativity, and it's absolutely appalling. And it's about time that some companies stood up to the media, to these social media platforms, and to say, no, enough is enough. I hope we see more of this because let's be real, it's a war. And I know normally I talk about stuff like what my favorite films are, what my favorite television are, but let me tell you, the corporate press, they are one of the biggest influencers of pop culture media. They need to be held accountable. I believe in a free press, but they shouldn't have impunity to be able to smear and frame people for crimes. And I'm glad this is happening. I hope Rumble and Truth Social and any other platform that is involved in this, that they will continue to fight back because it has to stop. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, that you'll leave me a comment and tell me what you think, that you'll share it out with your friends, and of course, consider subscribing to StudioJake. I cover all kinds of nerd and pop culture topics, including film, television, anime, comic books, and so much more. I hope that you'll also head over to my main website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I have even more news, views, and commentary. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, head over to my locals page. That's studiojakemedia.locals.com. It's the best way to support me. I'm trying to build a little community there. I have exclusive reviews and articles, so definitely head over there and check it out. And I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.